Welcome everyone to Worth It or Not. I am your host Scottish Warrior 92, and it's going to be a very short Worth It or Not because I'm going to be answering the simple question: is Mass Effect Foundation Issue 1 worth it or not? And it's not a line of makeup, even though it sounds like it. But yeah, so this issue came out I think this week, and in all honesty I'd heard a little bit about it. I'm a massive Mass Effect fan. If you don't know, I have all the games, all the novels. I don't have the strategy guides, which is a bummer. I mostly know all about the other comics. The only one I got as a continuous thing was Redemption. I know of the events of Invasion, and I know of the events of the other Mass Effect comic, Evolution. But those were all mini-series. This here doesn't have like an issue 1 of 5 or 1 of 6. This just says issue 1. So I'm assuming, and I do believe this is accurate, that this here is a continuous comic book series. So this is the first Mass Effect series of comics that really stands alone from the game. Like, the other comics were tie-ins to the games in my opinion. Redemption following Liara after the events of Mass Effect 1, after the events of the start of Mass Effect 1. Evolution was the story of the Elusive Man, and Invasion was a tie-in to Mass Effect 3. This one is just a standalone one. While it does tie into the Mass Effect universe, it is more like the beginning of a new series. It's its own story, I'll say that right now, in the Mass Effect universe. So what's the story of Foundation? Well, I'm going to say this right, but for issue 1, I'm going to say this right now, the story is kind of misleading. It starts off, basically, I think if memory serves me, is it right? It starts off in 2161, 3 years after the first contact war. It actually stays right at the start of the fucking comic. You know what, first of all, I gotta say, this cover's really good. I like it. I like this cover. It's awesome. Very nice, very action-packed, and gets you interested, in my opinion. Of course, the big Mass Effect logo, love it. But it's back to the story. It's set 3 years after the first contact war. For those who don't know, that is the war between, the war that happened after the humans went through the mass relay for the first time and encountered Turians, resulting in a very messy war, let's just say. The war eventually was resolved. But if you're picking this up, you already know this, because, duh, you're a Mass Effect fan. But yeah, the story follows, really I don't think we even get her name in this. Like, we follow a nameless redhead, I'm pretty sure, because I honestly don't remember her name ever being mentioned. Like, I do believe her name is mentioned, like she takes the alias of a doctor, but I don't think she actually is given a name. The redhead here is the main character of this first issue. She has no name, which is not a good sign. And really it follows her as she's actually going after I believe it's someone, if maybe, I do apologise, I probably should have read this one more time, but she's going after someone who is funding Cerberus, the pro-human organisation in the Mass Effect universe. Cerberus was around I do believe Cerberus was around just prior to the first contact war, but then eventually splintered off into its own organisation. It was a government one at first, and then it splintered off. If memory serves me, I could be wrong about that. But really, she's against Cerberus. She is against Cerberus. I do believe someone sent her, but it's never explicitly said who sent her. Now, as I said, I'm not going to spoil the story because there is actually a nice wee twist at the end. The first issue is very well done. And that's basically the story in a nutshell. Someone's going after someone who's funding Cerberus, stumbles across a little kid, and I can't say anything else without saying spoil, but I will say the story interested me. That's what I've got to say. The artwork as well is really good, I'm not going to lie. I'll try and see if I can get one that's non-spoilery. Like, here's some artwork. This artwork's really, really good in my opinion. I like it. The artist is Omar Francia, I believe. Just double check, I was like making sure. Yeah, he's the artist. The colorist was Michael Antris, and it's also, by the way, anyone who's wondering, is written by Mike Walters, one of the lead writers for Mass Effect 2 and 3, so he knows his shit, let's just say that. So the story is interesting. It has a nice wee twist at the end that I don't want to spoil for anyone who's planning on picking this up. And I'll definitely say that if you're a Mass Effect fan, you probably should definitely check this one out. Excuse me. It's actually interesting enough for you to be a standalone story. Now, as is from this point on, I'm going to say this right now. I'd say if you're a Mass Effect fan, go and pick this up right away. It's definitely a nice wee interesting read, and I like that it's going to be its own season stand on its own. I do like that fact. And we're going to be learning more about the Foundation. Of course, the slogan in this is, stand for something, join Cerberus. So it's a Cerberus-centric story, so we're probably going to be diving more into Cerberus during the early years, I'm hoping. I'll say this right now, it does do a time jump. I'll say that, but that's about it. Okay, right now, right here, I'm going to say this is going to have a little bit of a spoiler for the end of this issue for anyone who's not planning on picking it up. So please, if you're planning on picking this up, please click off the video now, because I'm going to show you the last page, basically, because we see a familiar face. A familiar face we never thought we'd see again, I bet. Now, as it says, right now, click off this video if you don't want spoilers. We see this bitch. And if you don't recognise her, shame on you. She's the fucking bitch. I think it looks like her. I am convinced that it's the bitch from the Citadel DLC that was shagging your clone. It's her. I'm pretty damn fucking sure it's her. Her name here is Rasa. I do believe that was the name. I don't think that was the name she used, but it looks like her. If this is the bitch that fucking was shagging your clone in Citadel DLC, I'm interested. So, yeah, we see her again, but you never thought you'd see her again. If you killed her, that is. Now, it does say at the end of this that this is her just joining Cerberus. And she states, a man I once knew said that you should stand for something. I guess I want to stand for something too. And of course, the elusive man is there asking why. Because he's a prick. But yeah, that's quite interesting to me because I never thought they'd actually use her character again. I thought she was a throwaway character in all honesty, just because the Citadel DLC was a fan service DLC. But yeah, I find that interesting. I'm not gonna lie, it did interest me. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, yeah, let's just say the redhead. I'll show you. If you're not planning on picking this up anyway. Yeah. That's Rana as a kid, killing the redhead, who was the main focus of this fucking comic. Who has the cover page. She gets killed at the end, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? I love that kind of shit. I really do. So I'll definitely say this: if you still have no intent, if after that spoiler you're not going to go pick this up, please go and pick it up. It's definitely worth a pick up if you're a Mass Effect fan. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. And definitely go check out the Foundation series. I'm very intrigued, and if it keeps going the way it's going, which so far with the first issue, a nice couple of twists and turns, this might be the first one of the few series I actually continuously buy. If it's good, that is. Now we just need to wait for a continuous Dragon Age series. As always, I'm Scottish Warrior 92, and I'll see you all later. Ciao for now.